So from Motorhome Depot today, we've got a Hymer 374. When you open up the cab door, we can see that you've got an access panel for your engine battery and your bonnet release. Fuel filler cap, just inside, ignition key in, twist, and you can release the cap that way. Centrally located above the Hymer badge, you have a bonnet release. Pop that one up onto the stem. Over on the left-hand side, you've got your screen wash. You've got these removable caps here, which then give you access to your brake fluid, power steering fluid, and radiator. Oil cap is just there, and then in front of it is your oil dipstick. If you ever need to access the flap so you can jump start the vehicle, then pop the key in, release that one. Your positive goes onto there, and then the negative goes onto this bolt, centrally located here. So when we move alongside of the van, you've got your mains hookup point just here. Always make sure that you connect to the side of the van first of all, before you connect to your sight post. So push in like so. Directly below that, you've got an outlet for the grey water. There's an internal valve that we'll show you later on, so you can drain off the wastewater from the shower tray from the habitation side. And then behind that, you've got a fresh water cap. Remove that one, and you can then put water into the onboard fresh water tank. Again, there's internal drain valves for those as well. 3 garage doors, one at the back, 2 on either side. Maximum limit on the garage space is 350 kilograms. It's a bit windy today for us to do the awning, so we'll do the awning with you later on. And you've also got your vehicle toolkit located into the back for here, along with a cable and some levelling wedges. So you can access the gas locker in 2 ways. You can open up the garage door, and you can get into both cylinders and get into the reset valve should you have a collision, or you should have a reason for those to shut down. If there is an issue with the gas supply, then you'll see this yellow stud pop out, but if it's flush to the rest of the casing, with you turning on the gas bottle, you should get your gas supply going through to the appliances inside. There's an alternative hatchway which goes into the side. You can see more clearly now, we've got a 6 at the back and a 13 kilo at the front. With the toilet cassette, lift up and supports your casing like so. So there's an internal valve on the toilet bowl. You need to make sure that's shut before you try and withdraw the cassette. Pull up on the orange lever and the body of the cassette should come out nice and easily. On a campsite, you have collection points for these to go into. So the grey cap comes off the top. You tip the whole casing up. You press in the orange button at the top, and then your waste should go out to the bottom. For the Highland zones, we recommend that you use the green chemical. So up to a capful of green chemical. You can use the sachets or the pods as well, mix with about 2 litres of water, and then slide the body of the cassette back in, and it should lock back into position, ready for use. Next door to the toilet cassette, you've got this access panel, which takes you into your leisure batteries, and it's also the access for the 12-volt fuse displays and controls. The mains box is located elsewhere on the van. We'll come on to that later on. So we're moved inside of the van, and up above the habitation door, you've got this control panel. Because we're already plugged into the main supply, you can see that you've got this amber light on here. By pressing on the central silver button, then you should see a green light come on there indicating that the 12-volt system's operational. And you can scroll through on the different settings to give you the feedback for the condition of the vehicle battery, your fresh water level, your grey water level, and the condition of the engine battery. On this van, the engine battery and the vehicle battery are both charged by the main system when you are plugged in, and the alternator charges both batteries when you are driving the vehicle. Everything else should be operational once you've gone to that setting, so you should be able to go onto interior light switches. Your water pumps will become active. This little sensor up here is to do with the air temperature sensor for the room heating system, which we'll talk about later on. So you have a Truma water heater and room heating system, which is powered by the gas. Current time showing up onto there. If I tap in on this button, then it will light up this display like so. First setting that you come to is for your room temperature setting. So by selecting on that one, tapping on it, you can turn the controls up, just using the bezel, all the way up to a maximum of 30 degrees centigrade. Select the temperature that you want to reach, and this symbol will begin to flash just to confirm that you are on the room temperature setting. If the top symbol starts to flash, then it's an indication that the temperature is increasing. It's an exceptionally warm day today, so it's likely that we've already exceeded that 30. Oh, no, there we are, it's kicked in. So we're now generating heat within the vehicle. Once that flame symbol becomes a solid symbol, then it's achieved that 30-degree setting. To get to your water temperature, then you go on to this one. There is a process for setting up the water system. We'll talk about that. It's an underfloor valve that we'll show you later on. But to select your water heating system, then you are selecting onto that one. And you can choose between an eco mode, which brings the water up to about 40 degrees centigrade, a hot mode, which takes the water up to 60 degrees centigrade, or you can boost it if you want to have a shower, for example. Again, if the top symbol is flashing, then it's an indication then that the water heating is rising. Turn it back to the off mode and turn the room heating system back down. And that shuts all of that off. As already mentioned, it's a bit of a warm day here, so we can just use the circulation fan on its own. So we're selecting onto that, and then you can increase, and this will recirculate the air within the vehicle. It's not air conditioning, but if you've got the humidity like we've got at the moment with a few windows open and a couple of roof lights, it can make a difference to the overall temperature within the vehicle. To go on to deselect that, you just go back to vent and then turn it back down. And come back to that button again, and you should have an off setting, and that will then take it off. You would have seen at the beginning that we had a time display. All the functions that we have just done, you can set up via a timer. You can adjust the clock, and you can adjust the setting positions within the van. If you want to switch the unit or the appliance off, press and hold on this one for a couple of seconds, and you should see an off symbol appear, and then it will shut the system down. There's a central compartment panel that you can lift out, and beneath that you will find the access to the wastewater tank. For cleaning purposes, you can remove the blue cap, put your hand inside if you need to retrieve anything that may have gone into the waste or anything that might be obscuring the drain. Off means open, so it means that the drain exhaust is open, which means all the water that's going into the tank is immediately being ejected. Move it around to this position and you'll shut that valve off, and you'll be able to retain your waste water. Go up the step and lift the panel, and you have got access then to the hot water drain valve and to the plumbing drain valve. In the foreground, you've got your blue and black tap assembly. This is a thermostatically controlled drain valve. So at the moment you can see that there is a blue diamond that's in line with the white pipe. That means that the water is flowing through the system, that you can prime the water heater and operate it. In the event of the air temperature in this van going below around about 2 degrees centigrade, then that diamond turns through 90 degrees and it opens up a drain valve underneath, which allows the water then to escape and discharge out of the wastewater. This is something that you would do for frost protection to stop the water heater from being damaged in extremely cold conditions. To reset it, you turn it back through 90 degrees. And near the base of that casing, you will see a small blue round button. You need to make sure that that is pressed back in, and that resets that valve. Behind that, you've got a single blue tap. Turn it anti-clockwise and it will open and it will drain the residual plumbing within the van. With the control panel switched off, you can leave your interior taps open, and it should allow draining of the plumbing and also for the water heating system as well. In the compartment behind, you have got your fresh water tank access. Again, for cleaning purposes, for adding solvents or solutions, you can go down into the inspection panel that's there. Tucked behind the cabling down to where the inlet pipe goes, there is a black wheel. And if you turn that wheel anti-clockwise, you open up a drain plunger, which allows then the fresh water tank to drain out. Again, this is critical that you do this for winter storage. It's in a closed position at the moment, so it's tight, and it's allowing that 100-litre fresh water tank to fill. So we've moved into the cupboard underneath the driver's side bed storage area, and you'll see your mains RCD box. It's got a smoke screen over the top of it. We lift that screen up and you should see a succession of switches. If those switches are in the up position, then it's allowing the main supply to come into the van. That main supply will go on to your 3-pin sockets, to your battery charger, for those to operate. If the switches are in the down position, then that could indicate a trip, and therefore they may need to be reset. You'll notice that there's a small blue test button. If you have connected to the main supply and you're doubtful about whether it's coming in, by pressing that, it should trip out. That trip out sequence indicates that the supply that's coming into the van is ready for you to use, so you can then push the rocker switches back up, and that will allow the main supply to continue into the van. In the pull-out cupboard adjacent to the fridge, you will find 2 gas taps. They're both in the horizontal position, which means that you've got gas flow going through to the appliances. So from memory, you've got the hob on the top and the water heater below. If you have concerns about the gas supply, then you can isolate those individually. General rule though, turn the gas bottle on and off at source. Having established your gas supply using a gas match, you should then be able to turn on your gas. Use a gas match like so. It's a bright sunny day outside at the moment, so it can be a little bit difficult to see the flames. You should get a nice crisp blue flame coming through on both burners. There's no flame cancelling process on these lids, so if this is brought down over the flame, it will continue to burn, it will burst the glass. So make sure that the appliances are switched off and that everything is sufficiently cooled before you fold the lid down over the supply. With the toilet cassette, lift the seat up first of all and move this lever over to the right, and that opens up the wastegate. To flush the toilet, it takes a fresh water supply from the onboard tank, pushing on the blue button, and you'll hear the water then going around the inside of the bowl accordingly. So this unit also has a fan fitted, so when you press the flush, a fan will engage. That fan is drawing away the toxicity, as it were, for want of the best description, away from the cassette. Fan will continue to run for a minute or two after the toilet has been flushed, and then it will cut out on its own. When the cassette is approaching full, you'll get an indicator light coming on there telling you that it needs to be emptied. When you open up the 12-volt fridge, you'll notice up in the top corner you've got this thermostat control. The higher the number, the colder the fridge will become, and it's taking a direct feed from your leisure battery. Moving into the cab, if you start the vehicle and the step is still left out, then you'll hear a buzzer sounding within the cab. So pressing on this button, and that allows you to override and draw the step back in. You've got mirror controls here for all 4 mirrors, so you can then turn towards the direction of the mirror you want to adjust, and using the joystick it will adjust around. You've then got electric window controls, and your blinds are there. With the central blinds, you need to draw both of them together. There is a small cutout, and as long as it's not catching the cable, then it should allow those to magnetically join together. Make sure that they are clicked back into position before you depart. You don't want these coming open when you're driving along down the road. Also to the right of your steering wheel, you've got headlamp beam control. So if you're laden in the back, you've got means of turning on your rear fog lamps. Your wiper controls are on the right stalk. Your indicator and main light controls are on the left-hand upper stalk. The lower stalk below is for your cruise control and speed limiter. Reversing camera gives you a permanent image. You've then got ventilation controls that are centrally located, including your air conditioning. And then below that, you've got functions for heating up the mirrors, locking the cab of the vehicle, hazard light switch, hill descent and traction control, as well as USB and 12-volt functions there. So that concludes the handover for this Hymer 374. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this presentation from the Motorhome Depot. If you have any questions, please get in contact with the North of Scotland team. We're only too happy to help. Hope you enjoy your new van.